We're going to start in about a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get started in a minute. This is very nice to see. We have a full complement of commissioners, and we'll do some introductions a little bit later. I wanted to remind all the commissioners, when you want a turn to speak, remember to unmute your microphone and then state your name when you're speaking. This is just makes it easier to transcribe things later.
We're not ready to start yet,
Yeah.
so you know.
And the other thing, too, is when we are voting on any measure or action today, we'll be using the touchscreen to vote. Yeah. And Karen's right next to him, so.
I appreciate your effort, I just have to make sure, I can't, yep, I get it, okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, and also just to let you guys know, normally we try to keep these meetings down to about an hour. Once we get past the work plan approvals and that kind of thing, that's hopefully what it'll work out to be. But today's going to be, I'm looking at our agenda, it's going to be a long one. So if you feel like you need to take a break somewhere in the middle, let me know. We can always do an intermission and then resume. If we get past close to the 4 o'clock mark, we may have to do a vote to decide if we want to extend the meeting. But hopefully this is the last time we have to do this. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to call to order the April 21st, 2026 Senior Citizen Commission meeting at 2:04 p.m. Can we do a roll call?
Let the record show all commissioners are present.
Thank you. Commissioner Angel, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This brings us to agenda item 4. And at this point, I'd like to introduce our new commissioner, Commissioner Stephen Lord. Would you like to take a minute or so to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm a long-term resident of Encinitas. I've been here since 1982. So I was here for incorporation and a lot of the early work in Encinitas. So I've got quite a bit of background in Encinitas. My professional career is as an engineer, designing and building chemical plants. So I'm sort of familiar with logistics and practical aspects of things like that. I particularly interested in the fact that we have a lot of empty nesters here in Encinitas. We have a lot of older people who own very large houses where they raise kids, and I'm looking forward to finding a way to use this resource for the benefit of the community, the senior citizens, and other people. So those are my main interests.
Okay, thank you. And next we have, I believe we have a video presentation from Michelle Matter, who is the COO of the Center for Excellence in Aging and Longevity, SEAL, San Diego State University.
Hello, my name is Michelle Matter, and I'm from the SDSU Center for Excellence in Aging and Longevity. At SEAL, a big part of our work is partnering with municipalities to design and implement age-friendly community plans that reflect the needs, strengths, and voices of local residents. We've had the opportunity to work alongside communities across the region, helping to assess needs, facilitate community engagement, and translate those insights into actionable age-friendly strategies. We've especially enjoyed spending the last year working with the City of Encinitas to develop its age-friendly community study, and I'm excited to share our work with the Senior Citizen Commission today. Age and disability-friendly communities are designed to ensure that all residents, regardless of age or ability, can live with dignity, independence, and a strong sense of belonging. This work is guided by the 9 domains of livability, a framework developed by the World Health Organization and AARP. These domains help communities think holistically about what supports well-being, autonomy, and social engagement, especially for older adults, but really for everyone. These include outdoor spaces, housing, social participation, disaster preparedness, communication and information, respect and inclusion, health and community services, and work and civic engagement. Together, they provide a roadmap for creating communities that are more inclusive, accessible, and connected. When we begin developing an age-friendly community plan, we don't just take a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, we focus on the areas that matter most to each municipality. For this study, we worked with the City of Encinitas leadership team to focus on 5 domains that guided our work: housing, community engagement, mobility, outdoor spaces and buildings, and health and wellness. We selected these because we saw the greatest opportunity to better understand residents' day-to-day experiences, highlight existing strengths, and identify gaps, ensuring that the strategies developed are truly reflective of the community's unique needs and priorities. To guide this work, we use the Blueprint for Livable Communities, a multi-step process designed to ensure the plan is both data-driven and community-informed. We begin with a policy and environmental scan, reviewing existing plans and programs. From there, we deploy a community survey to better understand residents' experiences and priorities. We then engage directly with the community through listening and learning sessions, creating space for residents to share their perspective and help shape potential goals and action steps. All of this input is then brought together into the final action plan. So what you see on this slide is the blueprint in action. We reviewed 34 policies and identified 64 existing programs already supporting older adults. Our survey included 93 questions and received an incredible 1,165 responses. We conducted 9 key informant interviews and hosted 4 listening and learning sessions with 75 participants. Finally, we held 4 community workshops in January and February, engaging 130 participants to help prioritize action steps. This approach ensures that the final recommendations in the study truly reflect both the data and lived experiences of the community. I want to start with some of the key themes that emerged from our key informant interviews and then walk through each domain in more detail. The individuals we spoke with represented a broad cross-section of the Encinitas community, including educators, civic leaders, long-term residents, and nonprofit partners. Many have lived here for decades and bring a deep understanding of neighborhood changes, infrastructure, and civic life. Several participants also shared personal experience with caregiving, mobility challenges, or navigating services for aging parents or for themselves. Others serve as advocates through their roles with this commission, Village Encinitas, or other volunteer organizations that support connection, engagement, and community well-being. From these conversations, some of the challenges participants highlighted was the need for more accessible information and communication across multiple channels and languages. They also talked about the impact of fixed incomes on housing and health, and the rising risks of social isolation, which is often linked to transportation barriers and the ongoing need for more affordable, accessible housing. At the same time, there were also clear strengths. Encinitas is seen as a compassionate and civically engaged community with strong community spaces and organizations that foster learning, wellness, and social connection. And of course, the city's parks, beaches, and trails were consistently recognized as important assets. So with that in mind, I'll now walk through each domain in a little bit more detail. I'll start with housing, and it's probably no surprise that affordability came up consistently with concerns about rising rents, home maintenance costs, and property taxes, along with a desire for more diverse and adaptable housing options, especially those that support aging in place. We also heard that residents want clearer, more centralized information about available housing resources. From the survey, 67% rated Encinitas as very good or excellent for aging, and 69% reported stable housing. But stability doesn't always mean affordability, which was a key takeaway. We also saw that options like ADUs are increasing, but they're often priced at market rate, and about 60% of residents were unaware of available housing resources. While strong policies are in place, there's an opportunity to better align affordability, access, and awareness with community needs. Moving on to community engagement, this is an area where Encinitas shows a lot of strength. Overall, we heard that this is a highly engaged and connected community. One key insight is the barrier to participation isn't willingness, it's awareness. Many residents are interested in getting involved, but aren't always sure how or where to plug in. We also heard the importance of inclusion and respect, particularly around elevating the voices and stories of older adults and increasing awareness of elder protection resources. Across the survey, interviews, and listening sessions, several community assets were consistently highlighted, including the Senior Center, the library, and Village Encinitas. At the same time, a gap that emerged was the need for more intergenerational activities and expanded opportunities for lifelong learning. This is a strong foundation with a clear opportunity to build awareness and connection. As part of community engagement, we also looked at communication information, how residents access resources and stay connected. We found that communication preferences are mixed. While many older adults are comfortable using email, text, and smartphones, there's still a strong preference for printed materials like newsletters and flyers. The key theme was the importance of trusted messengers. Organizations like churches, nonprofits, libraries, and neighborhood groups play a critical role in reaching residents. While 85% reported feeling comfortable online, many shared that websites and registration systems can be difficult to navigate. Residents recommended simplifying online platforms, offering one-on-one tech support, and expanding digital literacy opportunities. There was also a clear call for more accessible information overall, including a centralized resource guide that is easy to navigate, available in print and digital formats, and offered in multiple languages. And importantly, about 75% of respondents were unsure whether non-English speakers or homebound residents are being effectively reached, highlighting a key opportunity for more targeted and inclusive outreach. Moving on to mobility, which isn't just about getting from point A to point B, it's about staying connected to daily life, maintaining independence, and aging in place. We heard consistent concerns around transportation access and reliability, with public transit described as infrequent and difficult to navigate. There was a strong interest in expanded options like microtransit, volunteer driver programs, and services like Out and About. Walkability and safety also came up frequently, including the need for improved sidewalks, lighting, crosswalk timing, and better enforcement around shared spaces like e-bike use. While road maintenance was generally viewed positively, there were concerns about localized issues like uneven surfaces, drainage, and sand buildup, particularly by the beach areas. A major theme was also awareness. Many residents are simply not aware of existing transportation options. 42% rated public transit as poor, and over a quarter weren't even sure it exists at all. Nearly half were unaware of more affordable options. So while strong policies are in place, there is an opportunity to improve mobility for all residents. Outdoor spaces were one of the most positive areas we heard about. Residents consistently highlighted parks, trails, and coastal access as central to Encinitas' identity, supporting physical health, social connection, and overall quality of life. At the same time, there were a few consistent suggestions for improvement, including adding more benches and resting areas along walking routes, improving the availability and wayfinding of restrooms, and enhancing lighting, especially in the evening. There was also interest in more age-friendly amenities such as shaded seating, outdoor fitness equipment, and clearer signage around accessibility features. Finally, looking at health and wellness, several key themes emerged around awareness, access, and support. We heard a strong interest in more wellness programming, things like nutrition workshops, health screenings, fall prevention, and low-cost fitness opportunities. Mental health also came up frequently, with concerns around loneliness, grief, caregiver stress, and the need for more accessible and affordable services tailored to older adults. Participants also emphasized the importance of reducing stigma and expanding support groups. At the same time, we saw a lot of strengths. About 75% of respondents reported access to mental health services, and 92% reported no concerns with food insecurity. I wanted to share a few photos from our listening and learning sessions. These sessions gave us the opportunity to bring the data to life, moving beyond the numbers that I just shared to hear directly from residents and dig deeper into their experiences, perspectives, and priorities. These conversations were critical in shaping the recommendations you'll see in the study. And here are some photos from our community workshops. I think you'll recognize some familiar faces. These sessions were an opportunity to bring everything together, sharing the goals that emerged from the surveys, interviews, and listening sessions, and working collaboratively with the community to identify action steps to achieve those goals. So I want to share where we are in the process. We have completed the draft of the age-friendly community study, which includes a vision for each domain, along with goals and potential strategies. These strategies highlight examples of practices, programs, design approaches, and partnership opportunities that the city can consider to help advance the identified goals. We anticipate having a final design version by the end of May, with plans to present to City Council in late summer or early fall. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share this work with you today. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person. I'm presenting at the American Society on Aging Conference in Atlanta, but happy to answer any questions you might have. I've included my contact information, and also I encourage you to visit our website, which has a lot of age-friendly resources and more about the work that we're doing in other age-friendly communities. Thank you so much.
So we do happen to have some people in the advisory board and the leadership board in this room with us. So there's an opportunity for you to make a comment or question. We can note that. Any remarks from the commissioners?
Stephen Lloyd, I have a question about our participation prior to the final version of the recommendations. Is there going to be an opportunity for the people on the senior commission to see the direction you want to go with the final version?
This is Manager Goodsell here, and there will be an opportunity for the Senior Commission to review the draft plan and to make comments on that before it goes to City Council.
Commissioner Thunder here. I have a couple of comments. As a new commissioner, I'm not sure how it's typically been done, but I think it would have been really valuable for me to have been given this in advance. And I'm kind of disappointed. That was a lot of information to take in at a public meeting. It would have been nice, like in city council meetings, how all the presentations are available for the council and the public before the meeting. I think that's...
So I should point out, this is Chair Ling, I should point out that this has been a work in progress since beginning of last year. So we're actually at the tail end of this right now. This summary actually is the first time we've seen this as well, those of us who've been working on the program. And it does, we've been in the process, and by collecting all that information, distilling it, and presenting it this way, we kind of have an idea of how the recommendations are going to come together and be presented to City Council. But it's...
Yeah, and I'm happy for you, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of us that didn't come with didn't come along the
Right.
program to the level
Yes.
you did. I'm just voicing, not displeasure, but concern that we and the public get to see these presentations, particularly this one, before, especially we have questions. That was a lot of information. Look at my questions I have
Yeah.
as it went through. And I would like to answer those questions.
So we can talk about this, but we are actually pretty much at the conclusion of our involvement in Age Friendly right now. Our work as advisory boards, at this point, really all we are expecting to do is have an opportunity to view the draft and make comments and critiques. Our involvement in the process,
Do we have a draft to view?
that's coming. That's the thing that we've been
This
talking
seemed
about.
like a pre-draft to me, right?
Yeah, so as Manager Goodsell was saying, and what you heard with Michelle Matters said was, we would be presenting this to City Council in the summer, right? And it's April right now, so we'll have a chance to look at it before then. The reason why, even though the draft is nearing completion now, the reason why it's not going to City Council next week is because there's an opportunity for us to review.
Okay. So I'll go back to my original, my original statement. Is it reasonable that commissioners and the public, but I'm asking for me, I guess, receive presentations before we sit here and get slammed with, I'm just going to say, I thought she had so much information there and she did the best she could. And I don't think she did a bad job, but for someone who wasn't involved in it, there's no way I could follow that.
And I
There
think
was
that's-
graphics and text that didn't match what she was saying on almost every
Hey,
slide.
Yeah,
So
but
I'm-
it's hard to keep up. And I think if you were involved in the process every step of the way,
Okay,
it
but
would be
four of
easier.
us weren't.
I know, I
So
understand that.
if you wouldn't mind
No,
not.
I understand
repeating
that. I'm
we all
just
know
trying to
that.
clarify, this, we're kind of at the home stretch at this point. So the fact that you guys were not involved in it earlier on,
Mm-hmm.
it's just because you weren't here. There's an opportunity to review. I think at this point, so there have been, some of the commissioners that actually did participate in the workshops.
Okay,
So-
great. Excuse
so-
me. Manager Goodsell, is it reasonable for me to request presentations be sent to us prior to our meeting?
This is Manager Goodsell. We
Oh,
can make
sorry.
note of that.
This is Commissioner Smith. Is it possible to get a copy of the slides that were presented here today so that we could have them
Manager
and review
Goodsell
them for-
here, the meeting is being recorded, and it is going to be available for you to view on YouTube and the city website. So you can go back and watch it, as many times as you want. It'll be available to you.
Can we get hard copies?
We can yes, I can actually absolutely get you a hard copy. Sure.
Okay, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
Hi, Caden speaking. I'd like to know who is the members of the ad hoc committee regards to the age-friendly workshops.
So last year's ad hoc committee was myself, Commissioner Koblenz, and Commissioner Hanwitt.
Okay, thank you.
I have another question. What was the service she called out and about?
I think that was referring to transportation.
It wasn't transportation. I'm just asking what the service is. I've never heard of it. You don't know? That's okay.
Manager Goodsell, that was a volunteer-driven program. Volunteers would drive their own vehicles and transport senior citizens
Okay.
to various locations in Encinitas.
And the
that
reason.
program no longer exists.
The reason you're getting blank looks from us is because that program was discontinued in 2020 due to
Got it.
COVID.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner Angel. So I just want to state for the record, even if we were not on the ad hoc committee, and I was not, citizens throughout the city of Encinitas did in fact have an opportunity to engage in the listening sessions that was certainly advertised and promoted throughout the process prior to. I attended and I learned quite a bit from those, and that was a wonderful way to engage. Even before any of these final steps. I just wanted to let folks know that.
So, and I think Commissioner Angel's point is the public was engaged in this process. Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, Stephen Lord, I have a comment about the selection of the areas that were discussed in the thing. Well, one thing that I noticed, I mean, you've got affordability, you've got all these various things, but there's no question about law and order or any senior citizen concerns about law and order. I don't know if that was included in other aspects of it, but senior citizens are prone to scams, for example.
Yeah.
You get more gullible as you get older.
So very early
So
on.
I just wonder whether it's deliberate to not include law and order, or was incorporated in some other aspect.
So the short answer is yes, it was deliberate, because early on in the program, 5 domains were selected, and those were decided that those would be the primary areas of discussion for the workshops.
Thank you.
Manager Goodsell, just to make note, community engagement was one of the items, one of the domains, and I know that we did hear a lot of feedback from the community about dissemination of information and access to resource information, so that would include scam and fraud information and dissemination of that, and education as well.
Okay, let's move on to agenda item 5, oral communications. Do we have any speakers today?
Yes, we have 3 speakers for oral communications today. The first speaker is Carrie Kelly, and she's here to speak about Youth Commission presentations and proclamations. And as a reminder, you have 3 minutes to address the commission.
Hi, my name is Carrie. I'm super happy to be here, and I'm now a senior by the new guidelines, which is actually I'm excited about. I'm here to talk and ask you to consider authoring a request to City Council for an award and proclamation regarding members of the Encinitas Youth Commission. I think it's super fascinating that in your age-friendly intake, which I participated in and went to the information sessions on, that a reoccurring finding is that awareness, not willingness, is a barrier to volunteerism and civic engagement. I think that's really important, and I think it starts really young. That is like an interdisciplinary approach to the way we view our community. So Statista reports that there are between 44 and 55 million young people ages 13 to 24 in the United States. I'd like to talk about the Congressional Award. The Congressional Award is the only nonprofit through Congress. It's the highest honor for the youth civilians. The program is nonpartisan, voluntary, non-competitive, and free. Citizens between 13 and 12 and a half submit activities starting at 14 years old up to 24 years old. Last year, 3,997 kids got this award. It requires a significant investment of time in 4 subject areas: volunteerism, athletics, an expedition, and personal development of their choice. So it's targeted to each individual student and their needs. So 3,797 students out of between 44 and 55 million is a teeny tiny group of kids. So now I'd like you to look at these kids. All 5 of these kids have either earned or are earning the Congressional Award. These are the 5 members of the class of 2027 Youth Commission. They're juniors on the Youth Commission. So let me just introduce you to a couple of them. On left, we have Elizabeth Christensen. You may know her because she did the intergenerational programming art event at the Pacific View Art Center. She won the Congressional Award this month, or earned, I should say. Miles Huey is next to her. He earned his Congressional Award Gold Medal last week. Quaid Kelly. Quaid is one of the youngest people in the history of the Congressional Award to have earned the medal in his sophomore year of high school. He chose not to get the gold medal in Washington, D.C., to do more service. Then you have Chet Kinselberg. Chet is earning the award and just recently was named the #1 Scout project of the country with his Marine Safety Project in Encinitas. And then on the side, you have Sarah Charles, who runs 4-H, may I continue with your permission? Who is in charge of 4-H, is earning 16 AP credits at her high
I'm
school.
sorry, point of order, you're only allowed 3 minutes to speak.
Okay, my understanding is that the chair can extend that time. Okay, and I'll just wrap up. So I just want to point out that of this entire tiny subsect, you have 5 kids in this city who have earned the highest honor a civilian kid can earn, and they don't ask for a lot of visual credit for this award because they're volunteers. By doing a proclamation, I think it's raising awareness to the larger community that this is a free program that's available, and more importantly, that seniors are great mentors and validators of this award. So it creates a cross-generational opportunity. All 5 of these kids earned this award in volunteerism by giving service to Encinitas. So I would like you to consider this as something that you may mention to City Council. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the extension.
Thank you.
The second speaker today is Molly Hintlian, and she's here to speak about today's special presentation. As a reminder, you have 3 minutes to address the commission.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Molly Hintlian, District 2. So, about today's presentation, it would have been, I was confused. I actually thought it was going to be a different topic. So as it was presented, I didn't realize it was part of the age-friendly survey, or this whole project that kicked off last year. And I was going to ask in oral comments, what's going on with the age-friendly Encinitas program? So to some of the commissioners' concerns, it should have been attached as a presentation to the agenda, because I would have liked to have read through that. There was a lot of information in it. Again, I came late. So my request is that presentations, especially special presentations, be attached as an agenda item so that people from home or people coming here can come more prepared with questions and to see the presentation. So I just have lots of concerns that there needs to be a published deadline or some type of timeline with this age-friendly program, because it's not been clear. I participated in one of the workshops. Yes, the workshops were advertised throughout the city, but I would like to see more of a packaged plan of where we're going with this age-friendly. So thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, and the third speaker today is Rachel Graves, and she's here to just speak about public comment. And you have 3 minutes to address the commission.
Good afternoon, Commission. I couldn't help but come up and speak after what I just witnessed. I've come and spoken at many meetings about transparency, accountability, and I've actually had some trouble with people and groups and nonprofits coming here and speaking and giving presentations without a copy of that presentation being available to the public, either prior to the meeting, at the meeting, or even many years after the meeting has happened. Those presentations have still not become public. For example, Encinitas Bike Walk has given numerous 30-minute presentations at commissions and never provided their PowerPoints. So I just want to echo what public speakers and also Commissioner Thunder have requested. Encinitas has taken a new direction in the past year or two, and that direction is transparency, it's accountability, and I think that our council and our staff is not just demanding the minimum of the Brown Act. They're expecting better. And I'm just asking this commission to consider some type of policy, and maybe I need to ask the council, that when multimedia presentations are being given, that they're provided beforehand for staff, maybe commission chairs or the city manager to review before they're being given, and to be provided to the public so that we may participate, and provided to the commission so that they may understand what's being presented, so that they can ask the types of questions they want to. And I believe a chair should probably agree with that. So thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. That brings us to agenda item 6, changes to the agenda. Are there any changes?
Yes, there is a change to agenda item 8A for Senior Citizen Commission Annual Work Plan. There is a correction to the recommended action numbering, as it should read numbers 1, 2, 3 instead of 1, 3, 4, and that aligns with the staff report for item 8A as well.
Okay.
This is Commissioner Angel. I do not have the information up on my screen. I'm seeing the other screens have it, and I'm wondering if there's something I need to do to access that.
Oh. There's also a copy of a. Okay, that brings us to agenda item 7, approval of the minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the March 17th, 2026 regular meeting minutes?
This is Commissioner Angel, and I'll make the motion that we approve the March 17, 2026 regular meeting minutes.
Commissioner Angel has made the motion. Do I have a second?
This is Commissioner Smith.
Commissioner Smith has seconded the motion. We will go to touchscreen voting. Commissioner Lord, since you are not present for that meeting, you will just abstain.
Manager Goodsell, unless you watched the recording,
Oh.
then you would be welcome to
That's true.
vote.
Let the record show that the motion passes with 6 commissioners voting yes and 1 commissioner abstaining.
Okay, that brings us to agenda item 8, action items.
So Chair Ling, we do have 1 speaker that would like to speak to agenda item 8A.
Okay.
Before we get started.
Why don't we start with that?
Okay. So today we have Molly Hintlian, who has a neutral position and would like to speak to agenda item 8A. And as a reminder, you have 3 minutes to address the commission.
Good afternoon again. This is what I came to speak to. I was reviewing the work plan, and 2 things. I think it piggybacks on top of what Carrie Kelly spoke to about awareness. And there needs to be more awareness about the programs that the Senior Commission is working on. One suggestion I have is that, and I'm newly on a commission, and I think the commission should present to each commission. So we're aware of what the different commissions are doing, because there is overlap. There's overlap of what the Senior Commission is doing with Parks and Rec, because you're bringing programs to seniors at the community center, AKA the senior center, but you're also bringing programs to Pacific View. So I think there's an opportunity as you work through your work plan to articulate how you have some crossover with Parks and Rec. My second comment is about item 6, the ad hoc for grant funding. I think at this point, we have so much awareness and programs we need to focus on in our city to not necessarily seek more grants. I think the city has awarded a lot of grants out there to our different groups like Village Encinitas. So I'd like to see some incorporation of what programs and activation that you guys have here in the city. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Point of order, can I respond to questions that are relevant to the work plan? Nope?
Yes, for action items, yes.
Okay. So
I mean,
first,
speaker.
thank you to all the community speakers, but also for this speaker on this topic. I wanted to point out that the work plan is a work in progress. We have not approved it yet. So what you see here is a draft, and it's not been finalized. I also wanted to point out your proposal, your suggestion that the various commissions find out what each of us are doing. That's actually a work in progress. We've been discussing this. This idea came up last year, and we've already talked to city manager about organizing a workshop with the different commissions so we can put our heads together. Separate activity. With regards to the grant funding, this is not so much to issue grants. We do not have a budget. Senior Citizen Commission does not have budget for this. What we're doing, the purpose of that particular action item, and I think it's actually, I don't think we need to have it. We'll talk about that as we go through the plan. But that was basically to apply for grants to fund programs that we, Senior Citizen Commission, would like to propose. And I think we can move, well, let's go right in and move into the completing our work plan proposal and ad hoc assignments. First off, I think, Commissioner Lord, is this the first time you've had a chance to look at this? Okay. So we'll kind of walk through, and if you see something of interest or if you want to make a comment, because last meeting we pretty much said yes, that we're okay with the goals, but there's an opportunity here, I think, if you want to make some changes. So I'll start with work plan item 1, and I'll read the stated goal. Attending city-hosted events, programs, and city-partnered events as serving as city ambassadors or volunteers. And all members of this commission are involved in that. We can suggest some proposed outcomes, but basically, if you're a volunteer in a city-sponsored program, if you represent the Senior Citizen Commission in any of the city-sponsored events, that satisfies this particular goal. Any questions, comments?
This is Commissioner Smith. One thing I'd just like to mention, because as I have attended city functions recently, is that there's a concern that in some cases they've asked about, well, how do we know about all these things that are going on, and that maybe we could do a better job in getting the word out. Like, for example, I'll mention the Easter egg hunt or the spring hunt. Is that not many people,
Right.
feedback I got from people was that not many people were aware of it. And these are families, and I'm not talking, I mean, I just attended as an adult, but
Yes.
these are families that would have liked to have attended. And I'm not sure, I'm kind of really, this is an overall comment, but I mean, we can use social media, and that's a very effective form of communication, only when people know to check it. And I don't know how we can better
So,
improve that. I mean, you have TV, you have
yes.
newspapers,
I was going to,
flyers.
sorry, I'm going to interject here. I was going to suggest when we get to work plan item 5.
Okay.
You should volunteer to be an ad hoc on that one.
Okay.
Because that's exactly the topic we're talking about.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for work plan item 1? No? Okay, work plan item 2, identify guest speakers from monthly meetings to provide education regarding topics related to the work plan goals and adults 50 plus, and to find platforms to disseminate the information to adults 50 plus. Now, I wanted to make a comment that these first 3 work plan items are basically identical to the work plan items that we had last term. And to that point, I believe Manager Mickelson is steadfastly working on getting our calendar filled up with guest speakers for the rest of our term. And so he's got a spreadsheet. I think this is the right time to talk about it, for us to look at and basically sign off on his list of guest speakers.
Thank you, Chair Ling. Manager Mickelson, I do have some proposed guest speakers that were mentioned at the last meeting. And these were recommended by our current commissioners. Topic of a title is Rancho Coastal Humane Society. That was recommended by Kristen Smith. We have One Safe Place, also recommended by Kristen Smith. Encinitas Senior Center Programs, recommended by Commissioner Thunder and Caden. The next one would be the bike.
Troy, can you repeat the last one for me, please? I'm sorry.
The Encinitas Senior Center Programs. That was recommended by Commissioner Thunder and Caden. The next one on the list, recommendation, was the San Diego County Bicycle Coalition. That was recommended by Commissioner Angel. We have the Traffic Safety. That was recommended by Kristen Smith, Commissioner Smith. And then Jonathan Teague, he is listed again. He spoke either at the January or February commission meeting. That was recommended by Commissioner Caden. There were additional guest speakers that had reached out to myself that were also part of the oral communication that could be of consideration. And then I also have a previous list that would have guest speakers as well. So this would probably be a good opportunity to discuss which ones would work. I believe that there were a couple others that were recommended. Please give me a minute here. It was Elder Help of San Diego, Encinitas Historical Society, the San Diego Alliance for Drug-Free Youth, Safe Streets Encinitas. These were part of the oral communication. Next on the list, I have, please be patient with me as I thumb through my notes. Fall prevention was also mentioned, and then trauma recovery were also mentioned by Commissioner Koblenz.
Okay. And I believe we do have a community speaker who would like to speak on this topic.
Yes, Molly Hintlian would like to speak to the same topic
The guest speakers.
on guest speakers. So she will be coming up, and you have 3 minutes to address the commission. No, we're not on 8D, but we are discussing this, so she wants to speak to this topic now.
Actually, I'm confused. So am I speaking to 8D?
Yes, you are. Yeah,
Okay.
I jumped the gun a little bit because since we were on that particular topic in the work plan, I wanted to hear the recommendations.
So that was changes to the agenda.
That's my fault.
So it wasn't communicated. Okay. So Troy's going to put something on the overhead, so maybe pause my time. Can you make it bigger? So this is a draft work plan, and specific to 8D, I wanted to ask, what is the purpose of the guest speaker presentation? Is it to inform the commission and educate the commission on what a particular group or community member is doing for the public? Or is it to pitch an idea for an event or public meeting that the commission needs to adopt and host, and to pitch to council if they need resources, be it staff. The third part is, did the commission recommend an action taken on an initiative in either term 24-25 or 25-26? And I ask this because I did look at last year's bike education, and it was a tough presentation to follow because it was 28 minutes. There weren't a lot of visuals. And so my critique might be a little bit for IT because the presenter was presenting to you, not the public. And the presenter's presentation was in the lower third of the image. So I had to ask for a copy of it because I was curious, what kind of education are we sharing and what is the value? So I think we should have bike education. I think we should have driver tips. But how do we present this information? And is it for the presenter to present to the commission and say, you, the commissioners, come up with a program that you want to bring to the community and host a workshop at the senior center or at the library or at a public space. Next page. And the speaker presentation, as which I spoke to in my opening oral comments, the presentation requirements should be clear. We should define the work that the work plan presentation category, and if there's more than one topic or request for an event, that's very clear. Also ensure the timelines like that. Thank you.
Okay. All right, I will attempt to address that. Let me restate the goal of work plan item 2, and that is to identify guest speakers for monthly meetings to provide education regarding topics related to the work plan goals and adults 50 plus, and to find platforms to disseminate the information to adults 50 plus. So the short answer is the commission is responsible for identifying topics that we believe are relevant to the older adult community. In my history as serving on this commission, we have never taken a direction from a guest presenter to create a new initiative. Right? It's always been informational. Does anybody disagree with me on that? Those legacy commissioners? Yeah. So there have been times when some of the guest presenters go astray, but that's been very few and far between. So I wanted to have Manager Nicholson present the topics, so you had a better perspective on what kind of topics we're going to be talking about during this next term. I don't think any of them fit really in the categories that you had identified that you were challenging. So I would like to, if there's comments from the other commissioners, please.
Commissioner Koblenz, thank you, Molly. It's my understanding, having sat on this commission and made certain recommendations, I make them based on what I believe the value of the presenter is to the senior community. And at that point in time, it's, for lack of a better word, a pulse point for me to see if the rest of the commission agrees and if there is an opportunity to send a letter or maybe just make sure that they are available, and if they're doing something on the outside. That's what I perceive to be the goal for number 2.
Manager Goodsell, I believe there were letters of support written by the commission to the city council based on previous presentations?
Letters of encouragement, yes.
Letters of encouragement. Mm-hmm.
This is,
Caden?
You-
Caden here.
Okay. Go ahead.
Commissioner Caden, I was not here for the last presentation, but I did go back a year ago looking at presentations, and I would like to see a sheriff's department focus on something that was actually for all age groups, and especially seniors, regards to the sheriff's department. They focused on a speech in 2025, and they also have a focus speech on 2026 to 2027, regards to road safety, Vision Zero, DUIs, e-bikes, enforcement. I want to hear about that. Unhoused, outreach enforcement. They kind of change up a little bit, and community engagement. I would like to see someone from the sheriff's department, because they have more information, more informative. I don't want to see anyone to come up here and give us a lecture, and I would like to see someone who has answers to, who has the right-of-way. I want to learn. I don't want to be told. I want to learn for all of us and for our community. And I would like to have that added to the list. And I believe the community and other commissions and the city council probably would agree. And also to add, as I understand, if there's a presentation outside of the staff, should be 10 minutes. And if it's staff, which sheriffs is part of our paid staff, they get a lot longer time. I'm just bringing that forward. And thank you very much, Molly, for your speech. Thank you.
This is Commissioner Angel. I just want to point out that under the proposed outcomes for item number 2, it specifically does state that commissioners are to gain awareness and understanding of the topics being presented here, relevant to whatever special project or goals. So to me, it seems clear that the objective is for us to gain insight, and there's no specific actionable item related to the specific speakers that come before our commission.
This is Commissioner Smith. My understanding with the guest speakers, or maybe what I would like to see, is that if we have somebody come and speak to us, obviously, it's information that should, I'm sure it should be shared with everyone. So if we could make it more publicly known so people could attend these meetings, these are open meetings, and do a little bit more PR or, spreading the word that we're going to have this one special speaker come, I think that would be great. Otherwise, if we heard the speaker, evaluated that this is something really, really important, and we want to turn it into another bigger event at another time and date, that we should do that. With that in mind, I wanted to add to the list elder fraud. I attended a really good presentation at One Safe Place, but it was put on by the retired county district attorney's assistant district attorney, and it was absolutely amazing what's going on out there. And it was kind of sponsored by AARP. So something like that, I think I would envision that that could be given as a preview, perhaps, at our meeting here. But then it's something that I would like to expand and have a more broader presentation in a separate meeting.
Commissioner Koblenz, point of clarification, are our speakers basically not pre-interviewed and approved by you?
Manager Goodsell, the commission makes the recommendation and determines which presenters would be appropriate to speak and educate the commission. And
An additional point of communication, you make the connection and book them?
that is correct. So staff does make the connection and they book them.
Okay, one more point of clarification. So should we make a recommendation and you call them then and book them, and it would appear that maybe they would not be the most appropriate, then at that point in time, would they just be passed over? Or would you allow them to speak?
If they're inappropriate, they would not be speaking.
Thank you.
I know Commissioner Thunder's been waiting to get her word in.
We would hope to prevent that if it was inappropriate.
Yeah, with all respect, we're either going to use the buttons or we're just going to jump in. I'm fine with jumping in.
Yeah, you can
but
jump in.
Then, okay, then the button's done. Okay, I'm here. I I really appreciated what the speaker had to say about I won't call them lectures, about the guest speakers, because I kind of had the same sense myself. And I was really thrown off because we did discuss those possible speakers at the last meeting. So I had that in mind, kind of informative, sorry. And one of my questions was going to be, which now it's kind of different, was that if we're getting people here to speak that have valuable information for what we do and other seniors in the community, should we be promoting our meetings in a way to get more people to the meeting?
And the short answer is yes.
Okay. But then today's guest speaker just threw that off the map. That was a whole different thing. So I'm going to go back to the suggestion from one of the speakers that for something like what we had today, that I now believe that should have been an agenda item, something with a little more meat and potatoes that we would have time to discuss, and possibly I understand she couldn't be here, but maybe we should have waited till she could be here.
So I'll interject again here. So the purpose of that presentation was there was a letter that we need to approve today that basically says, we, the Senior Citizen Commission, are presenting the recommendations of the Age-Friendly Encinitas team to City Council. And that was the purpose of this presentation, was to provide some context to that, because the comment last time was, we don't even know what we're sending. Why are we writing this letter?
Okay, well, let's try to stay on the agenda, because I'm
am.
lost. So
I am.
but thank you for that.
Yes.
I understand
So-
what you're going.
So I'm also going to comment on, we've been talking about promotion and outreach. One of the reasons we go so early trying to finalize our guest speaker lineup for the term is so we can actually advertise. We can put it in the activity guide. We can pull it on big signage outside the lobby of the
that's
senior
great.
center. Right. In the past, we got our speakers about a week before they were going to come up. And that was not enough time to really promote some of the very important presentations we were hearing. The other thing we've done in the past, and I'm not resting on my laurels here, but the other thing that we've started to do is that particular portion of the meeting, the guest speakers, Commissioner Koblenz had been trying to figure out for months and months, how do we get the people who participate in the senior lunch to come out here and watch these presentations? And it's the moving Muhammad to the mountain, or the other way around. We finally figured out these are on video. So just as Manager Goodsell has said, these meetings are all on video, and you can access them through YouTube and through the website. But Commissioner Koblenz had arranged now that whenever we have a guest presentation, that video is presented during senior lunch. Not live, but the recording of it. So they do benefit from that content.
So is that happening now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Stephen Lloyd, so I have some comments. It seems from this that this is for the benefit primarily of the commissioners.
No. In part, yes, sometimes there are things that we would like to be informed of, but really what we're looking at is what would benefit the age 50-plus community at large.
Well, I guess what I'm seeing here is it says, education regarding topics related to the work plan goals, and adults 50 plus. But, so I was going to ask the question, how are these speakers tied to specific work plan goals? So you could see that we could have, all the speakers could be just one goal, and other goals will be neglected. So it seems to me that we need to, whoever's going to be a guest speaker should have his presentation tied, at least some way, to one of the goals that we've got.
And this is exactly why the commission gets to review who the speakers are and approve them.
So I guess what I would think is part of putting this together, put the suggestions together, is that we identify, before we review it, okay, what is this speaker, what's the goal that the speaker's talking on that relative to our particular situation?
Exactly, and I agree. So we're kind of doing the cart before the horse here because we haven't even finalized our work plan yet. So
But-
let's,
but we've got an outline of the work plan, so.
but we're not done. We're not done. But
So one other comment, if I can, going back to the transparency issue and preparation, it may well be that people want to comment on the guest speaker's remarks. And I'm
Yes.
wondering if there's a way of at least summarizing those, what the guest speaker will talk about and as part of publicity, so that people who say may disagree with the position of the speaker, for example, or maybe will want to come and say something.
Okay, so let me, I'm trying to keep this meeting moving here. Let me make
Yeah,
two
yeah,
points.
sorry.
First one is, the commissioners do have an opportunity to ask questions and make comments to the guest speakers. Not for the community speakers, but for the guest speakers, yes. The other thing is, I do like the idea about including the presentations with the agenda, if that's possible, so that we know in advance at least what the presentation looks like, even if we don't get to hear the speakers ahead of time. So I'm going to suggest that as part of the stated goal or the outcome for work plan item 2.
May I speak? Commissioner Caden, I'd like to hear this senior fraud that Kristen brought up. I'm not too sure if I got his name right, but I think it was Jonathan. And wow, I think everyone, besides what age group they are, should hear what he has to say, and I would love to hear it again. And I'm not too sure if we could form, I think more people may come to the community center to hear a speech, a presentation, possibly than coming here to our senior citizen commission meeting. I'm new, and I just feel as though the community center might be more of a benefit place for other commissions to go there.
There are some logistical issues with that. Part of it is because of the Brown Act, we're expected to televise and record this, and we don't have those kind of facilities
Oh, I did
in the
not
community
know.
center.
And does it cost us if we?
I don't know about cost, but it's just kind of,
Commissioner
this
Koblenz,
location is set up for that.
point of clarification, because I really appreciate these conversations, and I think I'm a little confused, because don't we all have to agree upon who is going to come speak
Yes.
before we ask them to speak?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments before I move on?
Manager Goodsell, do we have consensus that we want to keep this goal on the work plan? And if so, is there a consensus on any of the speakers that Troy mentioned that you, as a body, want to move forward with?
So I'm going to suggest that we keep this goal. We add the requirement that presentations, whenever possible, be included with the agenda ahead of the meeting, and that we table the discussion for the list of guest speakers until next time. And what I'm hoping is that Manager Mickelson will have a list that we can choose from, and we can finalize that list in our next meeting.
This is Commissioner Angel. Manager Mickelson, prior to the next meeting, I agree with you, Chair Ling, and I'm wondering if we might actually have that list sent to us so we can digest it and look it over and be prepared to have that discussion, rather than just have it presented at the next meeting again. I know you ran through that list somewhat quickly, and I'm just suggesting and requesting that the list be sent out to the commissioners prior to the next meeting. Thank you.
Manager Mickelson, yes, that's not a problem for me to do that. In doing that, so I'll keep everybody that's on the current list that you currently have, and then the additional ones that I mentioned, would you like those included on this list as well?
Commissioner Angel, yes, please. And then we can just have an opportunity to, again, digest it, have our thoughts, and then we can decide at the next meeting.
We'll only have a limited number of slots, Sometimes we've doubled up on speakers, particularly when the topics are related. So we can discuss that, I think, at the next meeting once we have a complete list.
Commissioner Koblenz, I believe if I may, Commissioner Caden wanted to add the Sheriff's Department to that list. Did you get that?
I did add that to my list.
Yes,
Thank you.
I saw Manager Mickelson furiously taking notes, so I know he's up to it. Okay.
Commissioner Thunder, one last item on that. When you send us the list, can you provide any details or links for the speakers so we can learn more about them, like the Jonathan T? I'm intrigued by that. I would like to.
He's a good one. So there are going to be some topics that we've covered in the past, but having these speakers come back to present again with a different audience, I think is really valuable.
Okay, so what I was asking of Troy, thank you, is if you could give a little more extension to the list, or I'd be happy to work with you if you need someone, if you want to do the list and then I'll look it up and send it back to you with some links and more information. I don't know. I'm willing to do that with you. I think it'd be more helpful for all of us to have it, in a defined list with information.
This is Commissioner Smith. I'd be happy to do the same thing, to provide it and meet with you if that would be more.
This is Commissioner Koblenz. If I may, how about if whoever we suggest, we do our own little research and provide it to Manager Nicholson?
Manager Goodsell here, that would be very helpful for those of you who made recommendations on speakers to provide the link and who it is that you're recommending, and provide that to Troy Mickelson. Thank you.
Perfect. Just one more comment for Troy. I would really appreciate if the speakers were linked to the goals. We've got 8 goals. We'll have some goals by the end of this meeting. It would be useful if the speakers, we knew what goal this speaker was aiming at.
So to Commissioner Lord's point, there is actually another, when we talk about linking goals, there's another requirement that has come to our attention, in that now that we have provided feedback as of the last term about our relationship to the general plan, the city's general plan, we've been asked, and staff will take care of this for us, we don't have to do that heavy lifting, that each goal that we identify in our work plan needs to be associated with that particular element in the general plan. So I think that's a useful thing. That means we'll see an extra column in our work plan when it's presented to us for next meeting. But to your point, not only do we need to tie in presenters to our stated goals in the work plan, we need to tie those stated work plan goals to the general plan.
Manager Goodsell, it will be tied to the general plan and/or the city council focus areas.
Okay. Can we move on to work plan item 3? This is going to be a big one as well. The reason I mentioned that work plan, these 3 work plan items are identical to what we've done in the past is similar to our ability to move forward on the Senior Citizen Service Award. I think I want to check with staff to make sure that we have an opportunity to move forward on work plan item 3 before we have City Council approve. And this is the one where we research best practices to adults 50 plus, identify senior resource gaps, and send letters of support to City Council. Because I think we've already got a number of topics that we want to handle in this category from the other commissioners.
Commissioner Caden, do we individually write the letters, or does the chair write the letters?
You have the option. The reason why this was changed to all members included and not just an ad hoc was because you may feel very, very passionate or specific about a particular topic, and if you feel that you can eloquently express that in a letter, you can write that letter yourself. That letter still needs to be approved by the entire commission before it is passed on to whoever the party that we want to send it to.
So do we have a time frame on this? Is this for next month?
This is for, well, so some of these things, and we'll get into it a little bit more. First off, I want to double check with staff. So this is an ongoing work plan item. We continue to write letters of encouragement, letters of recommendation to city council, to other commissions, and I want to make sure that it's okay for us to keep moving on this, even as we wait for city council approval. And there's a reason for that.
So you're welcome, the manager Goodsell, you're welcome to work on the draft plan. However, it's not going to be formally approved until the council sees it and approves it.
I know, but so what I'm asking is, in light of that, this only being a draft plan, but this being an ongoing work plan item from previous years, if we have letters of encouragement that we want to write now, for example, the letter about the proclamation for the youth commissioners, a letter about 4th of July plans, about City of Encinitas 50th anniversary plans. These are things, what I'm worried about is if we wait for the approval, we will have missed our window of opportunity for the letters to be relevant.
Manager Goodsell, the goal is to have this work plan go before city council the end of May. So that's next month. I would suggest you can draft some letters. However, hold off on sending them until the work plan is approved, but you can get going on drafting the letters. Does that help?
A little bit.
If this goes before council the end of May, does that work with your timing? Next month?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Things move very slowly. So, if we're talking about something for 4th of July, not being able to do anything about it until our June meeting is probably a little bit late.
Chair, can you give me an example, because you've been
So-
involved in here, when you
so
talk
I-
about July, because I believe the month of May, maybe back in 1968, one of the Kennedys confirmed that it'd be senior month that started in 1968, and then it got approved later on.
So I'm not
do
even
we have
thinking about that. I'm only thinking about,
But you're thinking of July 4th.
I was
so-
thinking about 4th of July, 250th anniversary of our country.
Okay.
I was thinking about, I think, is it
Manager
August?
Goodsell, there is plans to celebrate
Okay.
the birthday, and that is underway.
Yes.
So that's actually happening.
Yes.
4th of July, I believe that was discussed, and, the budget isn't there for that particular celebration. If you were thinking about a 4th of July drone show or such.
No, it's more along the lines of, and this is actually coming from Vice Chair Smith. Her perspective was we have, amongst our age 50-plus community, we have a lot of veterans. And we wanted to see if there's some opportunity to, on our budget, on our tight city budget, to acknowledge and recognize our veterans in the city of Encinitas for the 4th of July.
Chair, Commissioner Caden, I love the American Legion Hall. I'm sure that they have activities for July 4th. We probably should ask the staff to give us information on what their dates and what is going to be applied for all ages. Of course, you have to be over 21 to drink
Right.
there.
So this is strictly in the context of letters of recommendation, letters of encouragement.
Correct.
I would recommend, if this is Manager Goodsell, if the commission does want to write a letter of recommendation for an event that would be hosted by Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts, that you go ahead and, if there's a consensus, and you make a motion and you vote on it, that you can go ahead and propose a letter to the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Department Director.
Commissioner Copeland, speaking with regard to what Commissioner Caden said, in my humble opinion, with the magnificent veterans that we have and how important they are to our community, mentioning the American Legion, I'm wondering if for lack of a better word, that might not be an overkill because I know how important our veterans are and how many of our city people. So what I'm saying is, I'm thinking that it's going to be our big birthday, that will already happen. I'm not saying that we don't do it. I'm just saying it seems like it might be a duplication of effort, but that's just my opinion.
Okay.
This is Commissioner Smith. I think maybe the best thing to do would be to go talk to the American Legion and find out what their plans are, if that be.
This is Commissioner Angel, and I'd be happy to reach out, speaking as a veteran and knowing someone who's one of the officers of the city American Legion. I'm happy to do that and find out what plans are actually might already be.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you, Mona.
Okay, so I think one of the things we can talk about, hopefully very quickly, is if there are other letters of encouragement that we want to draft before the work plan itself has been finalized. We can decide if we want to move forward with those. And then by the next meeting, we can look at the final versions of those. If we approve them, they will be approved pending the approval of our work plan. Trying to get the jump on this stuff.
Could we get copies of prior?
I can do that. Yeah, I can help with that.
Yeah, Stephen Lloyd, I have a question,
Manager
general
Goods-
question here. This was part of last year's work plan, was it not?
Yes, and it's
So-
not uncommon that previous your work plan action goals carry on into
My point
the
is,
current year.
I would assume that the previous year's work plan is in operation
Well-
until the new one is approved.
No, unfortunately, no. This is why I was checking with staff on this.
Okay.
Because I was hoping that might be the case, but it is not.
The case is the work plan ends in December?
The work plan ends in March, and a new work plan is put into process, and hopefully it will be approved by end of May.
So you've got a 2-month
So-
gap, whatever you do.
Yeah.
Manager Goodsell, the term is from March to February.
Okay. Do we all agree, though, that this work plan item 3, we want to keep this one?
Yes.
Okay, let's move on.
One last thing, I'm sorry. Sure. We're all also public citizens of Encinitas, so we can all write a letter anytime
Absolutely.
as a public citizen and senior commissioner and recommend that they put attention.
No. So you can do it as a private citizen, but
So
part
you're-
of the reason why we're in this commission is because
No,
You
I
would hope
understand
there's a
that.
larger
I
voice.
understand that, but I meant not an official letter from the commission. I meant you can reference yourself as a senior commissioner,
Okay,
but you're speaking for yourself.
Yes.
For the public.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
You have to be careful about how you say that. All
Okay.
right. So we're okay with work plan item 3. I'd like to move on to work plan item 4.
You're right.
I think one of the takeaways from our little age-friendly presentation says that this particular work plan item is pretty important. Create new and sustain ongoing intergenerational programming in collaboration with the Encinitas Youth Commission with emphasis on generativity and community building. So the word generativity is something that we added in last year. And what it means is it's not just about the really old people hanging out with the really young people. It's about everything in between, and it's in both directions. So we usually think about the younger generation helping out with the older, but the older generation can also provide guidance and mentoring and other things for the youth.
This is Commissioner Angel, and I would like to volunteer to be on the ad hoc for work plan item number 4.
Okay.
This is Commissioner Smith. I would like to volunteer as well.
Okay, so we're getting ahead of ourselves, but that's okay. Thank you for your enthusiasm. What I'd like to do is to finish off with the goals, and then I'm going to go back and do the ad hocs. And what part of it is I want to make sure there's a certain number of goals that we're going to have here, and I want to make sure there's enough room for everybody to get what they want to get.
Chair,
So-
this is a very long process. It's almost 3:30, and we may have some people in the audience that might want to speak regards to other agenda items? Do you assume that this is going to take another hour, or?
I'm hoping not. I'm trying to make it go as fast as I
Or
can.
there's some items that could come up next month? I mean, is this an
I'm
emergency?
trying to finish this up today. So as we get to closer to 4 o'clock, I will ask if we want to extend this session. We've been particularly talkative today, so that makes for a longer meeting. What I want to do is I want to get through the work plan. I want to get through the other action items. It may be that we have to table some of the rest of the meeting, but it would be very good for us to finish all our Agenda 8 action items. So, work plan item 4. Are we okay with the outcomes here? Basically working with the Youth Commission and other community organizations. That could be the library, that could be other nonprofit organizations, and basically create and promote intergenerational programs with them.
This is Commissioner Angel, and I like the way this is worded. I would keep this as is.
Okay?
This is Commissioner Thunder, and it doesn't say anywhere on here about nonprofits.
It's talking about community organizations. That's the catch-all.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Is it possible to specifically say, including other commissions beside the Youth Commission? So in other words, my thought was if we...
So the challenge with that is, and we've done this before, is for that to work, intergenerational programming needs to be in their work plans as well.
Oh.
Otherwise, we can't play. So one of the nice things about our relationship with the Youth Commission is they will always have a work plan item for intergenerational activities in conjunction with the Senior Citizen Commission. So, and it took us a little while to figure out how to do that.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
I have a comment. Are you saying that if the Arts Commission wants to do intergenerational programming, they can't do it because it's not included in our plan?
No. So let's say if the Arts Commission said, let's use the other example. If we wanted to do intergenerational programming in conjunction with another commission, like the Arts Commission, it would have to be in both of our work plans.
Well, I think that's the point, is it's only saying Youth Commission, so.
Yes, because we already have that arrangement with the Youth Commission, and it's in the Youth Commission's work plan.
So I think the point Christine was trying to make was that unless we include it now in ours, other commissions cannot work with us.
Manager
Kind of what
Goodsell,
you're
you could
saying.
have this goal more open-ended if you'd like.
We can.
Yeah, I think that's the goal.
Yeah, I would
We
like
should-
That's
we should
fine.
not
Yeah.
restrict
Yeah.
other people from working with us.
Okay, let's say other commissions then. I agree with that. Any other comments, changes?
Who's writing this in, our staff?
Manager Mickelson is taking notes. And what he'll do is he will wordsmith it, put it in language that's appropriate, and then submit a final draft for us to approve next time.
This is Manager Goodsell. The goal is to have this a draft approved today so that we can take it to council with the other Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Commission plans at the same time. So if we could have somebody take a stab at wordsmithing this now, this goal.
I like to take a stab. to it,
Okay.
Goodsell and Chair. I like Mona and Kristen regards to why not start doing this now on
Yeah,
number 4 for them to be on the ad hoc committee.
I think we agree on that. I think the wordsmithing would be work with Youth Commission and other commissions.
Yeah, that would be,
And then can we just say yay, and then we can move on? So we don't have to go back to this?
No, that's the point.
Okay.
So, and other commissions. And what'll happen is at the end, we'll say, with all the changes that we've recommended, do we approve this work plan? Okay, let's move on to work plan item 5, support staff in promotion, marketing, and outreach for programs for adults 50 plus, including the Encinitas Age-Friendly Initiative, which we can discuss if we still need to have that in here, per council direction. I have a suggestion for an alternative here. This is the big thing. How do we do marketing? How do we do our outreach? How do we promote these programs and services to people who would otherwise not hear about it. That's always been our big challenge. We struggled with that with the Senior Citizen Service Award, and we were able to break through with that. We struggled with how do we promote the presentations from our guest speakers, and we've made some progress on that. This is still a big deal, so I strongly recommend we keep this one, and the idea is basically to improve outreach for all the programs that we support.
This is Commissioner
Koblenz.
Thunder, and I would like to keep it.
Okay?
Definitely.
Commissioner Koblenz, I would also like to add absolutely, and I've been spending a lot of time on this to be on the ad hoc, and I think if, having had a little bit of experience with Commissioner Angel and some of the other people, it really is about us working together and using our networks, not just within these confines. I think it's a very valuable one, absolutely.
Okay?
Would it be worthwhile to add social media, you just include social media, when you have promotion, marketing, and outreach, just including social, like all forms of social
We can. I
media?
could put that in the outcome.
Manager Goodsell, there's various forms of marketing and outreach. So if we list one,
Have to
we list them all.
The social media is
There's-
implied.
Okay, so that's a
Correct.
catch-all
It's
term,
implied.
kind of.
Why, I don't think we need to call out one particular program like age-friendly.
No, I don't either.
I think we scrap that
Yeah,
verbiage.
I agree. And because there's another opportunity for yet an additional work plan item, and that is in response to direction from City Council. Right, so I'll bring that up now. We'll add a work plan item here, and I'm thinking we're going to scrap grant funding because we no longer have expertise within the commission to do grant funding.
I have a question about that. Does that mean we scrap hoping to find funding for
No.
things like?
No, it does not.
Okay,
It just
I
means,
would really love to finish a sentence. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Really like
Sorry.
the what?
Finish a sentence. I'm sorry. I was thinking of the safari trip or the trip to the wild animal safari. And
Ma-
at the last meeting, we discussed it would be nice if we had a van, and there is a van. That we kind of went around about that, and I thought, I just don't want to scrap the opportunity to
And
get
that's-
something like that that's for our seniors, because that could be used,
I
I think,
agree,
a lot.
and that's work plan item 8. You're getting ahead of ourselves.
Manager Goodsell here, staff will still pursue that grant opportunity regardless if it's on the commission work plan or
Okay.
not.
Then I support removing it.
The reason it was in there was because we actually had a commissioner who had expertise in grant writing, and that is no longer the case. So that's why I want to strike that one out. I also want to say we're going to strike out the specific program about Encinitas age-friendly under work plan item 5, and add a work plan item that states that basically it's a catch-all, that we will also take on any additional programs as instructed by City Council.
I have a question for.
Going back to that, Manager Goodsell, and that's something that is a given.
Yes.
So the commission will always accept a work project that is given to them by the city council. So I don't necessarily think that that needs to be stated here. If council provides direction to a commission to pursue something, the commission will oblige.
Okay? Is it okay if that is implied in the work plan and not explicitly stated? Is everybody okay with that?
Yes,
I'm okay
Commissioner
with that.
Angel, yes, I agree.
Stephen Lord, I have a question, though, just about the wording, promotion, marketing, and outreach. Does that include data collection? Like you have a villagistics database where you go out and collect information on seniors?
So in the past, we've done surveys with mixed results. And surveys, because part of data collection is you're asking a question, you're getting an answer, you're collecting that information from the general public. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm just trying to make sure that we're not excluding data collection in the goal if we wanted to collect information. I mean, I'm interested in collecting certain types of information, so just want to make sure we're not excluding that. So
Okay.
the question for support people.
Manager Goodsell,
Stephen
could you
Lord.
describe, yes, Commissioner Lord, could you describe an example of data collection to me, how the commission would pursue that?
Well, what I'm interested in is in finding out if there are people in Encinitas who would be willing to share their house with other people, and if there are people in Encinitas who are looking to do such a thing. And it seemed to me that that was something that could be put into your logistics database if the database was modified to accept that kind of information. So I just want to make, I think we've got an opportunity here, and I just don't want to exclude, data collection and data analysis for that matter.
Can we
And
just,
I would go back to what Chair Ling said, is that the commission can, in fact, conduct a survey and collect information that way and collect data.
And they can incorporate,
However, the commission would not be, it would not be visible specific names and phone numbers and confidential information. That would go to the city.
yeah, yeah. All I want to do is make sure that we can collect data and put the data into the database that we've already got without, within these goals of item 5.
so what I'm going to suggest is we add the term data collection in our outcomes
Okay?
and kind of leave it at that for now, because I think it's not clear to me how we would actually go about executing that.
I'm not trying to design it. I'm
No,
trying
no,
to
that's- I
make sure
I
we
agree
don't
with you.
exclude it.
And that's why I'm saying we'll put it in there without necessarily engineering the entire thing yet.
Manager Goods, I believe that promotion and marketing, a
Normally
program or a
that
project.
normally that includes data collection, right? So, but we can put that in as an outcome. I'm with you on this. The outreach program, promotion and marketing are very broad terms that I think include things like surveys and data collection. I'm not sure we need to be more specific than that.
Does the rest of the commission want to chime in on that? I think it's pretty broad. That could encompass
It seems like as a
surveys.
senior commission, if we wanted to collect, if we wanted to hold a survey and collect data on anything like this, good idea, which I think is a good idea, it doesn't seem like it would have to be included in this work plan,
Well,
specifically.
I think it would fall under this category, but we don't have to specifically itemize.
Okay.
Right, we don't
I
have to
feel
say
good
we're going to
about-
do 5 different surveys this term. We can just have this broad category. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so just going back to my point of making sure that it's all forms of social media are included, you're saying that that's kind of a catch-all? and-
Yeah, it is. Yeah. We do some of these things we do on, some of these things we get very specific because we want to narrow the focus. Other things like this particular work plan item, we keep very broad so that we can incorporate a lot of different ideas.
Manager Goodsell, perhaps surveys could be incorporated into goal number 3. Research best practices as it relates to adult 50 plus.
But I think as long as staff agrees that surveys fit into our work plan, I'm not too picky about which work plan item it fits into. Right, it could go into either one.
I'll go back to my comment here again. What it says is support staff in promotion, marketing, and outreach for programs for adults 50 plus. So my concern would be that it would be very focused on outgoing, telling people about something rather than asking people about something. I mean, so that's my concern. So however we want to word that.
It doesn't seem like it would be much to add to that,
Yeah, so I'm
including conduct surveys when
Needed.
okay.
pertinent.
So I would put that in outcomes, conduct surveys as needed, and data collection. That could be an outcome for work plan item 5. Okay. Work plan item 6, can we strike this one?
This is Commissioner Angel. I think we certainly can at this time.
Yes, and this is what the understanding that if there are grant opportunities, that staff will help us with that. Doesn't mean we'll never apply for another grant. Okay?
I agree, so we can move on.
Yes, please. Work plan item 7, which is already, really, we've already approved this last meeting because we're already working on it. This is the continuing partnership with Encinitas Rotary Club and exploring other Encinitas Service Club collaborations to recognize and promote the Senior Citizen Service Award. We
I'd like
already
to
have an
add
ad hoc for that?
I would like to add a statement to that.
Sure.
And I'm winging it here. I haven't formulated this statement. But I would like to add a statement that allows us to make changes to the current program.
We do anyway.
This is Commissioner Angel. The ad hoc has already, has the authority and has over the years. That's one of the, that's what we do. That the ad hoc for this particular work plan looks at best practices and continually is changing things. So that's really, we're incumbent upon, that's what we're charged to do.
Great, I'm fine with that. It just seemed like that's something we should add, because it seems like we're being really detailed. If you don't, I don't care that much.
Okay. My take
We
on
can
it
do
is
it.
the broader it is, the more inclusive it can be. When you start getting very specific, you start narrowing things that you can do.
Manager Goodsell, the ad hoc is definitely charged with reviewing the program, making changes, and presenting those recommendations to the full commission.
And historically, the last 3 or 4 years, they've been making changes every year.
Chair
Yes.
and Commissioner Caden, in the box, there is no mention of ad hoc, and I think ad hoc should be in there, and that's who we are.
Well, we're going to, I think the names are in there now,
Yeah, the names are.
right? Because you guys have already, Angel, Caden, and Thunder are the names that are listed for the ad hoc.
That's great.
Okay, let's move on to work
Thank
plan.
you.
You're welcome.
Sorry.
Move on to work plan item 8, and this is a big one. Explore transportation and options that could support future senior transit programs, including potential field trip models and funding opportunities for a program vehicle. I think we all want this one.
I totally agree.
Okay.
This is important.
The last two are basically administrative stuff for the chair or hopefully vice chair to do for city council. So we won't, those are kind of given. So what I'd like to do now, I'm assuming we are all in agreement with the goals. Do we have any other specific outcomes that we want to list here? Or are the ones that are suggested by staff fine for what we have? Okay, I know everyone's waiting.
I have a question. Do get a little clarity on this vehicle for transportation in regards to Senior Citizen Commission?
We don't know the answer
I
yet.
was going to ask, no, I was going to ask the staff, is this something that needs to be requested and have them look into it for the city council to agree, because this is a vehicle that can be costly?
Manager Goodsell, we're just, the goal here is to explore options.
We're at the spitballing stage.
Which-
right?
Okay, exploring.
And that's something that can be done without funding, to explore options.
We may come up with some recommendations at the end of this that will require funding, but right now we're just spitballing. Okay. All right, I know this is the part you've all been waiting for, the ad hoc committee assignments. Now, what I would suggest is, I'm looking at this, and we have 1, 2, 3, ooh, did I count that right? 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. We have 4 ad hocs, one of which is already staffed. Did I get that? So work plan item 4, work plan item 5, 6 is gone, work plan item 7, and work plan item 8. Work plan item 7 is already, the ad hoc is fully staffed. So for the rest of us,
Who is on?
Angel, Caden, and Thunder.
Oh, I thought you said 8. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
I didn't see an 8.
That's already been staffed.
I thought we were on 8. Okay.
So now we're looking at staffing for 4, which is intergenerational. I already heard something from Commissioner Angel and Commissioner Smith. Is there anyone else who wants to be on the intergenerational? Commissioner Lord? Okay? So I was going to say, my guidance here is pick 2 so that everybody has a chance. And also, you don't want to overstress yourself being in too many ad hocs.
This is Commissioner Angel. Mindful that you just suggested to pick 2, I'm wondering if I can unchoose number 4 because I'd really like to be on number 8.
Okay?
And that will
Anybody
open
else
it-
want to be on 4? If not,
Commissioner Caden will
Yeah.
be on it if
Okay.
no one else. Thank you.
work plan item 5, promotion, marketing, and outreach.
I'd like to be on that one, please.
As would I.
Commissioner Smith? Who was?
As would I.
Thunder? Sorry, I was looking down. This is for 5. Okay. And for work plan item 8, transportation.
This is Commissioner Angel, and I would like to be on.
Okay,
this
Angel,
work plan item.
Commissioner Koblenz, I'd like to be on that one also.
Koblenz.
Oh, I thought I asked for that, the vehicle transportation. Is that the one I'm on?
You are on the Rotary.
I thought it was number 8.
You're on number 7 and number 4. Do you not want to be on intergenerational?
No, I did not.
Okay, you would rather be on 8?
Yes,
Okay, then I will take that empty slot
thank you.
for intergenerational.
This is Commissioner Angel. So are we limited to only having 2 commissioners per work plan item?
We are limited to 3 commissioners per ad hoc.
Well,
And so one of the reasons, so one of the things I wanted to do is kind of,
The 5, too.
I don't want you to sign up for like 3, because one is you're probably doing too much work, and the other one is you're not giving other commissioners a chance to
No,
participate.
Point of clarification, this is Commissioner Angel. What I'm asking is not how many work plan items we may sign up for, but what is the maximum number of commissioners that might be on each?
3.
Okay, thank
3.
you. I thought I heard you say 2
Otherwise,
earlier.
yeah, so I'm asking the commissioners to pick 2 of their favorite work plan items, and we are limited to 3 per ad hoc. So let me go down the list. I know the managers are waiting for this. Okay, so for work plan items 1, 2, and 3, that's everybody. All members of the commission are participating in that. For work plan item 4, intergenerational, it is Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Lord, and Commissioner Ling. For work plan item 5, Commissioner Koblenz, Commissioner Thunder, Commissioner Smith. And work plan item 7, Commissioner Angel, Commissioner Caden, Commissioner Thunder. And then last but not least, work plan item 8, transportation, Commissioner Angel, Commissioner Koblenz, Commissioner Caden.
So I only get 1.
I only got 1 too. But there may be more work coming. I'm not worried about that. And it just means you'll do twice as well on the one you're in.
Okay,
I guess it'll be a real challenge.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the draft work plan for 2026-2027?
This is Commissioner Angel. I'd like to take a step back. I'm mindful of the time, but I also know that Commissioner Thunder really wanted to be involved in this transportation work plan item, and I'd like to step back from number 8 and give Commissioner Thunder an opportunity to step up if she wants to.
You're very kind. I'm going to not do that because I
Okay.
just
So I'll keep-
agreed to captain a competitive team.
All right. Thank
I'm
you.
gonna
So
be
Commissioner
mindful of my
Angel?
time, but Commissioner Lord I think, wanted to serve.
I was
on another.
interested in an 8.
In transportation?
So why don't we have Commissioner Lord then step up and have the opportunity?
Okay.
Manager Goodsell, please note in your motion, it would be the work plan approval with the changes that were stated.
Exactly. Thank you.
May I get clarity? Do you only need 2
3.
on 8?
We need 3.
You
We
need
have
3.
3.
All right.
We have Commissioner Lord, Commissioner Koblenz, and Commissioner Caden.
Okay.
Okay, so let me do that again. Do I hear a motion to approve the 2026-2027 draft work plan with the changes that we've discussed today. I need to have a motion.
I have a motion to approve the 2026-27 work plan as it was stated and amended as of today. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Koblenz makes the motion. Do I have a second?
This is Commissioner Angel, and I'll second that motion.
Commissioner Angel seconds. We get to vote. Everybody gets to vote.
Does this come up now? Oh, yeah, okay.
Let the record show the motion to approve the fiscal year 26-27 work plan draft with the changes recommended today passes with all commissioners voting yes.
This is Commissioner Angel, and I do have a question. I'm mindful of the time. However, one of the agenda items was related to the Senior Citizen Service Commissioner Service Award, and I'm wondering, might we have time for that?
I'm going to try to fit it in.
Manager Goodsell, the chair can request to extend the time if need be. Once it hits 4 o'clock, we would need to extend the time
And
at
we
that
have to
point.
vote, yes. So let's move on. We're still on action item 8A because we need to approve the age-friendly community study letter, which is being sent on behalf of the age-friendly initiative from the Senior Citizen Commission.
Manager Goodsell, can we go back to number 2, the recommended action to make a motion to approve the ad hoc committee members?
Chair Ling.
Oh, it's a separate step, okay.
Excuse me, we have a couple more action item speakers that would like to speak to action items related to this.
Okay. Do we want to finish the approval of the ad hoc committees first?
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve the selection of the ad hoc committees for the 2026-2027?
Commissioner Caden approves. What do I say, second? I make a motion to approve it.
Okay, a second.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Thunder seconds. Let's vote again.
Let the record show the motion to approve the ad hocs for the fiscal year 26-27 work plan draft passes with all commissioners voting yes.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is also finish recommended action number 3. One more set of motions and a vote. And then we will take, I will ask for another vote to extend so we can cover the Senior Citizen Service Award if we get close to the 4 o'clock time. So recommended action number 3 under agenda item 8A is to approve the age-friendly community study letter, which we saw last time, from the Encinitas Senior Citizen Commission.
Manager Goodsell, Analyst Lewis, is there a speaker on this topic that you want to invite up before he makes the motion?
There is, I don't exactly know the topic, but would you like to speak to this agenda item before we get to the letter?
Yes, because I didn't know where to put my speakers.
Okay.
Is it related to the age-friendly community study letter?
This letter that was supposed to be with the video that we don't have a copy of.
So as a reminder, you have 3 minutes to address the commission.
Go ahead.
I'm Rachel Graves. I don't know how this study letter got buried into an annual work plan draft discussion, but I don't see a copy of the study letter, and nor do you. And I highly recommend that you do not approve something that the public doesn't see and that you don't see. It was brought up earlier with this video, and I wanted to comment on why we were trying to approve a letter that no one's, is that now on the agenda?
Yes.
I'm sorry, this is.
It's attached to the work plan.
This is why we had a new council a year and a half ago. We don't like this stuff. We don't like this lack of transparency, and we don't like things getting slipped into agenda items where they don't belong. And I highly oppose doing this. This was totally, none of us even understood that this letter was here. I understood it. You did? Okay, well.
It was here last time.
Wow. Okay. Well, I haven't read it, so I don't have any comments on it.
Okay.
But I don't approve of the way this was just done.
So, if you guys remember, for some context, we looked at this letter last meeting, and we agreed that without some context explaining what was going on with Age Friendly, which is in the presentation today, it was really not appropriate for us to approve this letter. So now that we've seen the presentation, and now that we kind of have that context, do we have a motion to approve this letter?
This is Commissioner Angel, and I'd like to ask a question related to the speaker we just heard from. Was this letter attached to the agenda and sent out prior to this meeting? Or in fact, is this the first time we're seeing this letter that was just posted on the screen?
Manager Goodsell here. This was attached to the agenda.
Thank you.
Commissioner Koblenz, Manager Goodchill, and the agenda was posted, correct, with the attached letter?
Yes.
That's correct.
So it was
Thank you.
attached to the work, it was attached to the work plan, which is how
It
they...
was confusing. It was at the very end. The work plan, it's okay. I mean, I'm not criticizing anybody, but I agree it was confusing.
Yeah.
Because you go through all the work plan orients this way, and you go through all that, and then there's a letter, and I found it very confusing. I have a question about the letter.
Okay.
Oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. I can't believe it. Somebody else talk. I'm so sorry.
All right.
Okay, Stephen Lloyd, a newbie here. So I looked at this letter and I said, what on earth is this thing doing here? So, but then I read it and I realized it's just a cover letter.
Exactly.
I mean, it's nothing. It doesn't need, I mean, you could just say, dear Encinitas community, here's the study.
Right.
You know, that's basically all he says. So I think could have been perhaps done in a little less confusing way, but we should move ahead. So I'd be happy to make a motion to approve the letter to be sent to the
Okay.
to the senior.
Commissioner Lord has made the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
My brain kicked in.
Okay.
Can I interject?
Sure.
I just don't understand the timing. So when we finally get the report back from the age-friendly people at both SDSU and where else? Who's the other?
City of Encinitas.
Yep.
Staff.
Save Encinitas?
No, the
City.
City of Encinitas staff.
Okay, thank you. When we get that report, we'll have an opportunity to review it in
We
a
will.
public way, right?
Yes.
And discuss it? And will
Yes.
we, make changes before sending it on to council? And what is this, how does the letter come into play? I
So
still
this-
don't have that whole process.
This letter is just, as Commissioner Lord says, is, here it is. That's all it's saying.
It's the cover letter to that report I just
Yes,
spoke of.
yes.
Once
And we
we
will
approve
still-
that report, then we attach this letter to it.
Manager Goodsell, so this letter is an opportunity to have it included in the draft plan that goes before council. If you are not comfortable with agreeing to having this cover letter as part of the plan at this point in time, you can vote to not approve it. So
Okay, so when you
can-
say the cover letter is for the draft plan, you're talking about the plan that we're waiting to get?
that is
back.
correct. That is correct. So you may not want to approve it at this point. Or,
Okay.
you have that choice.
Yeah, I'd rather wait till we have the plan, then it's all, this is confusing. You have new commissioners here, and I'm sorry, I'm not as mentally inept as I just seemed to be a moment ago. And I just think it makes sense to do the letter when we get the draft plan.
This is Commissioner Smith. I had the same concerns last month about this letter, and I thought it was a little premature. But I'm still am kind of troubled that we don't have an actual report to attach to go with this. So my recommendation was if we need to do this letter, I think we should say that we're pleased to share the draft report, and that's subject to, put some conditions, that's conditioned upon final concurrence by our commission group.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Caden, I'm reading like the last paragraph, and it says, supporting continued dialogue and collaboration.
Manager Goodsell, I need to interject. We're at 3:59.
Right,
So
I'm
Chair,
watching the
you'll-
clock.
Okay.
So
Okay, I'll make this quick.
I have to
Oh, I'm
extend the
sorry.
meeting.
Okay.
So, I would like to extend the meeting another half hour. Do I have a motion to extend the meeting, which otherwise would end at 4 o'clock, to 4:30?
This is Commissioner Angel. I'll make a motion that we extend, and then we'll see who agrees and who doesn't. I make the motion that we extend it until our meeting until 4:30.
Okay?
I second it.
Okay, can we vote on that? And then I have something to follow up with that. So,
Can you clarify who seconded that motion?
Commissioner Angel made the motion,
Motion.
and Commissioner Caden seconded it.
Okay. Let the record show the motion to extend the meeting by 30 minutes to 4:30 passes with all commissioners voting yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, because I don't want to spend a half hour talking about the letter.
Can I just finish?
Okay, but I'm going to table that discussion.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about the letter anymore.
All right.
Because I would like to do is move on to the Senior Citizen Commission. And
I want to say, Chair, Commissioner Caden, I agree. I think we should wait for May, because we've been waiting for results regards to that friendly.
And I'm fine with that, so I'm going to
Okay, thank
table
you.
this discussion until May. So what I'd like to do now is move on to Agenda Item 8B, the Senior Citizen Service Award. At this point, I would like for Commissioner Koblenz to excuse herself from...
Yes, this is Commissioner Koblenz, and I am going to recluse myself, and as I am involved in this opportunity. Thank you.
Manager Goodsell, does anyone need a
Bathroom break?
3-minute break?
Do we need a break, or should we just continue? We're good?
Continue.
We're good? Okay. Commissioner Angel, would you like to proceed?
This is Commissioner Angel, and yes, I would. The Senior Citizen Service Award is an award presented each year to individuals that dedicate time tirelessly to the city of Encinitas to better the lives of individuals who live here as well as the overall community. This year, the ad hoc committee reviewed 10 nominations submitted to the city of Encinitas. A rating criteria was used to score all the nominees independently, leading to a combined rating of the scores. Encinitas has so many deserving citizens readily giving of their time and talents, making this enormous impact. It's certainly an honor to do this each year. And it's certainly an honor to be nominated for this award. After careful consideration and extensive deliberation by the committee, the ad hoc committee, the ad hoc committee would like to recommend Susie Perry for her outstanding dedication, initiative, and unique contributions to Encinitas. Her service to our city and the impact it's made stood out to all of us on this ad hoc committee. So therefore, we recommend Susie Perry to this committee for a vote. I'd like to add that the ad hoc committee is honored to be a part of this worthwhile recognition program in our great city. Thank you very much.
Do we have any comments or questions for the ad hoc?
Do we have any speakers on this? No speakers, okay. I agree with Mona Angel on the, supporting Perry.
Okay.
Commissioner Thunder here. I appreciate what Mona put together. It was a pleasure to work on this, and it was very inspiring to see what people are doing out there with their free time. We have a lot of really neat people in the
It
city.
is. It's very uplifting, I think, to see, just to have to choose between, the nominees is no easy feat.
It wasn't.
Well, with that then, this is easier than I thought it was going to be. Do I have a motion to approve the recommendation of the ad hoc for Susan Perry to be the next Senior Citizen Service Award winner.
I approve, Commissioner Caden, I'm making a recommendation.
Motion?
Motion to approve Susie Perry for the Senior Citizen Award for 2026.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
All right, so Commissioner Caden makes the motion, Commissioner Thunder seconds it. We get to vote again.
Let the record show that the motion passes with 6 commissioners voting yes and 1 commissioner abstaining.
Okay, we're going to bring Commissioner Koblenz back in. We can, if you want, but it's up to you.
What happens next with the award?
So now that we've all voted, at the next meeting, the individual who is selected will be invited to the Encinitas City Council and be presented with an award, and also be invited to a luncheon with the Rotary, and also be invited to join the holiday parade. So I think we did a wonderful job, and we can all be proud of it. And the name will be on a plaque at the senior center here in the city.
And how are they notified?
The city staff will notify the recipient. We did our part.
Manager Goodsell, we will definitely do that, and then the ad hoc committee will write thank you letters to those who submitted nominations and the nominees.
Okay. Let's move on. Oh, this is going to be interesting. So let's move on to the team building exercise. Now, hopefully everybody looked at their calendars, and we can very quickly agree on a date where all of us can participate.
And Chairling,
Yes.
Chairling, sorry to interrupt. We do have one more speaker that wants to speak to this agenda item 8C, and
Okay.
that's Molly Hintlian.
Okay.
And she, just a reminder, you have 3 minutes to address the commission.
Wow. Okay, team building. Definitely recommend everyone should have team building exercises. But as part of your team building exercise, may I suggest a decorum exercise? Members of the commission need to show respect of the fellow commissioners and let them finish their sentences. What I observed as a member of the community was not good decorum today. I'd also like to share, I didn't feel respected when I shared my comments at oral comments. We had a very confusing session today. I wanted to speak to 8A and 8D. 8D got merged with 8A, which really got all convoluted. And I don't know who works on the action items, but I was very confused that the letter was buried in that action item. So my comments are, I hope that we can all improve, and that as part of your team building, that there is some kind of decorum and respect to both be able to listen to opposing views and just acknowledge them and listen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Molly, for us to be more aware, and I appreciate that. I do get what she was saying, like team building exercise, because they're the audience, they don't know what we're being asked to join in, the Pacific View Art Center, do some artsy thing. And 8D, I do agree with Molly that 8D is like part of the annual work plan. I get what she was saying, and I will agree that that letter was kind of hidden in the back that brought up. I would like to suggest regards to the team building exercise that's on the plan, that it would be, I would like, if, and everybody would agree, that Monday, April 27th, during the week instead of on a Friday. A lot of us are, some of us, even though we're seniors, we do party, and I still look at it as though any 5 o'clock, I'm ready to have a glass of wine. But I would just suggest if anybody wants to go forward on
Okay.
a weekday instead of a weekend day.
So first of all, I'd like to apologize for my conduct during this meeting. We are under a time schedule. I did not want this meeting to be a 3-hour meeting. I'm trying to keep it now down to a 2.5-hour meeting. So I apologize for cutting short some of the conversations and important points that were made by my fellow commissioners. We're on the home stretch. So, do we have any disagreement with Monday? And I think the time slot is 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. being our time for the team building? If there is, speak now, because then we can go into discussion.
This is Commissioner Angel. Are we speaking about Monday, April 27?
Yes, 10 to 12.
I am 50/50. I will know that week.
Okay,
or
anybody
a
else?
few days before.
I'm fine with April 27th, Monday.
And this is Commissioner Angel. I'm not available, but the rest can. I have an appointment that I have to take my dog to the doctor, and I cannot reschedule it.
Can anybody else do Saturday or Sunday? I think they were both in the afternoon. Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon?
I cleared my calendar for all 4, so I can do any of those.
I can do 2 of the 4.
I can't do the 25th.
Okay?
I could do the 28th or the 27th.
Oh, excuse me, I think the 28th, I believe that there is a,
And that's not one of our options
The
anyway. so-
28th. yeah.
28th is a Tuesday, and that is not an option. There's something going on.
Yeah, so
Maybe
we're,
the
not an
staff might
option,
know
though.
our
something.
choices are,
The Rotary Club.
Friday, the 24th, 10 to 12, Saturday, the 25th, 2 to 4, Sunday, the 26th, 12 to 2, and Monday, the 27th, 10 to 12.
Commissioner Koblenz, I request that we send our timeframes because I was under the impression that Manager Nicholson gave us options. I don't believe that we were going to discuss other options today, were we?
No, that wasn't the plan. The plan was to come up with one of these times
All
for
right,
our
then-
team building, of these 4 days.
and-
Respectfully, if I, point of clarification, can I have the timeframes again?
Manager Goodsell, I would recommend Chair Ling read off each date individually and ask for a raise of hands to see how many can attend on each date.
Okay, everybody's got their calendars open. The first date is Friday, April 24th, 10 to 12 in the morning. Who can attend? Just show of hands, I
There's a
think.
break, yeah.
I'll put up half a hand.
Okay,
What was,
put half,
okay,
too.
okay, so that's all right.
what was 24th again?
Friday.
Friday,
Yeah, I know.
10 to 12.
Okay.
Okay, so not a whole lot. Saturday, April 25th, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Sunday, April 26th, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m.
I might be cranky, though, but I'll be
Okay.
there.
I'll do it.
Cranky is
I'll
okay.
do it on Sunday.
Could do it on Sunday.
Okay?
Push came to shove.
Monday, April 27th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
10 a.m. 50%.
What day is that?
Was that a half? Or,
Oh, I'm sorry. I can do that, too.
Manager Goodsell, it looks like we had 6 commissioners able to attend the Sunday, April 26th team building from 12 to 2.
What about Monday?
Can you do that?
And Monday, we had 5 commissioners available.
It was 5. Mona
5.
was a no, and I was a,
Point of clarification, I believe the 25th is also Street Fair Day?
It is.
And the 26th.
ooh. That's why it's open at the Arts Center, because it's street fair.
Just a point of information.
Can we just try for another round of dates? Do you know what it's going to be like trying to get there?
Yeah, the parking, yeah, for sure.
The
on
parking,
yeah.
getting through?
So would you prefer to schedule it on Monday, April 27th? We had 5 commissioners.
Manager Goodsell, would you prefer to schedule it on Monday, April 27th? We had 5 commissioners available on that day? Or would you prefer that Manager Mickelson bring back another set of dates and you pursue this later?
I don't know how much later we want to do this, but some thoughts? Do we want to move forward on Monday?
I would recommend selecting one of these dates today. That would be my recommendation.
If you set it up for Monday, for me, one of the 2 people that don't want Monday, I can either come or not, and I may come late. It would be okay to come late, right?
This is Commissioner Angel. Help me understand, is the reason we're ruling out the weekend strictly because of the street fair? And there's no parking?
Commissioner Collins, no, that's not it. I have the entire weekend booked.
We had 6 out of the 7 commissioners who are available on Sunday, but that was before we realized what the traffic and parking would look like on Sunday.
We think we should do Monday.
Okay. Can we agree on Monday? Do we need to vote on this, or can we just let you know that Monday is going to work?
This is Commissioner Angel, another question. I'm wondering, might there be a possibility of Monday afternoon, that same day, but instead of 10 to 12, perhaps in the afternoon? Because that would be a game changer for me. I can certainly do it after 12 o'clock.
Me too.
And I'm hearing Commissioner Thunder saying the same thing. I'm wondering if we might look into that before just absolutely ruling out.
Let's pick the day, Monday,
Okay.
and then Manager Mickelson will get back to us if he can do an afternoon time.
Okay, good.
Manager Goodsell, so is the commission agreeing to either morning or afternoon on that Monday, April 27th?
Just one point of information. I prefer early afternoon, not late afternoon, if it's possible. But
Can everybody
I
here
have to
come?
cancel some appointments, but I can do it if that's the case.
I would recommend going with one of the dates and times selected here because we know that a room is available at Pacific View and that an instructor is available at Pacific View during those times.
Again, I'm sorry, point of clarification, the afternoon times on the Monday, the 27th would be what?
10 to 12.
there's no afternoon available at this point in time
Yeah.
that we know of. Is it correct, there's nothing available that we know of in the afternoon?
I'll be happy to change my appointment, make that work. So if I can, am I number 6 or number 5?
Manager Good, so let's see a raise of hands for who can make it on Monday, April 27th from 10 to 12. Okay, well,
Half and.
half in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half, 5 and a half.
And you might get one more if you make it in the afternoon, but we'll start with that time first.
Chairman, I'd like to, if we have an opportunity at the end, and I know we're in the last stretch and everybody in this room wants to leave, but I did have a comment I was hoping to make about my experience at the the age-friendly roundtable.
You'll get that chance,
Perfect, thank you.
I think.
We've got more.
Can we go really fast for the remainder of our agenda?
Manager Goodsell, would you like to make a change? I don't know if we are able to do that at this point. Manager Lewis, Analyst Lewis can weigh in. Would you like us to skip the operations and department update reports to move this along?
That would be definitely a time saver.
Yes, you can do that.
Okay. But you'll provide that information in the minutes, I guess, or as you normally would, no?
No, we just cross out that line item, and
okay.
then they'll revisit that at the next meeting.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, let's move on to, very quickly, Agenda Item 10, Commission Member Initiated Agenda Items. There are none, I assume. And then Agenda Item 11, any future...
Manager Goodsell, there's 8D. Did you address that?
We did. We talked about it. We to the point of one of the community members, we spoke about that out of turn. We went over the list of guest speakers, and we're going to table that discussion for next time. Manager Mickelson will come up with a finalized list, and we can pick through those in our May meeting. Okay, agenda item 11, future agenda items added by commission members. Is there anybody here who wants to add an agenda item for next time? And you remember you have to have 2 commissioners to do this. Okay, I'm going to say no. That brings us to the commission reports roundtable, all commissioners. And I'm going to ask all of your commissioners if you have any announcements or reports to add. And I will start with Commissioner Thunder.
Here we go. If I only would have waited 1 moment. Thank you. So I'm really happy it worked out that I was able to go to the roundtable. I don't know who made that happen. It's the age-friendly group. They have a monthly roundtable where people that are involved in age-friendly make presentations to representatives from each of the cities to just listen. And so it was just literally a roundtable. And the presentations were about, I didn't plan to reiterate what they were. There was 2 or 3. One was about a Tai Chi program that the county offers, which I'm really interested in bringing to Encinitas. So maybe would that become an agenda item?
I think that's something you can take up with staff.
Okay, so Kristen and I talked about that because she was at the same meeting. So it just sounded fascinating. The people in Santee love it. It's fully booked, 40 people every single week. It's very popular, and it's in other cities. So we haven't hosted it yet, so we're due a turn. I don't know when that would be, and I don't know what it takes, but so that's a side note on the Tai Chi program from the county. Shouldn't cost us a dime, I think. The other thing is a woman from the hospital, one of the hospitals, spoke about things that are dangerous to seniors. And here's what I wanted to share with my fellow commissioners. I was really surprised because in her speech or her presentation, and she was very good, she was a very good speaker, in her presentation about safety to seniors, she got into roads and streets. And she made a comment that I did not appreciate, and I wanted to share with you all. This is one reason why I'm a little bit not suspicious. I'm not all in with the age-friendly program, like everybody else that's been on here, and it's maybe why I ask a few extra questions. I was surprised that she said in a room full of representatives from most of the county's cities, she mentioned about roads, and she said, and we all know that elections matter. There's some cities, like one in North County that we all know, that is about to rip out a $4 million safety program just because the elections changed. And I took offense at that. Without even sharing my standing on the road, which doesn't matter. Clearly this was about Santa Fe Drive. It's been in the news. And I took offense at someone dissing my city and a decision our council made about a safety issue, whether or not I support it. I don't think it belonged there, and it did alert me that it reminded me that there's always political players at play, and some things that even seem good and reasonable, it's worth asking the difficult questions. And I think with that, it's important that as a commission, I'm sorry this has taken long. I really wanted to be home by now. I have something that I need to be home for, but it's really important that we dig a little bit. We have new commissioners here because we have a city council that put new people on. So, and there must be a reason for that. So I just wanted to share that. I'm not anti-age friendly, I'm just a little bit alarmed that in a public meeting, someone dissed our city for making a change for safety. And I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Commissioner Lord, do you have any comments today?
I don't have any comments. I think I would support Jury Thunder's general comment that it seems that some of these groups like SDSU and other areas tend to throw in gratuitous political comments, which don't belong in what we're trying to do in terms of supporting seniors. I personally, with regard to roads, I think of the most dangerous thing is the sidewalks, people tripping and falling. I mean, I don't care whether I personal experience, my wife took a tumble and smacked her head and she was bruised from head to toe. And it's a miracle, hip wasn't broken.
Okay.
So, but that's my only comment.
Commissioner Koblenz?
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Commissioner Caden?
Commissioner Caden? Wow, Julie Thunder, I'm so glad that you brought that forward. I did not know. And if we're allowed to write a letter and hand it over to the staff regards to a situation like this, they probably did not expect anyone from Encinitas to show up, and that is very political. And we're guided not to be political in our Senior Citizen Commission. And I find that, thank you for sharing that. I know it's probably really difficult to come out with the right words to say. Thank you very much. I really appreciate what you brought forward. And then secondly, regards to maybe a program for senior citizens to learn good balance, be able to, survive in some kind of I don't know what you would call it, but something regards to learning how to protect yourself from being attacked. Excuse me? Like a self-defense course that could be guided by the Senior Citizen Commission that could help other 50 and above age regards, or younger, regards to self-defense. And that's it. I want to add that.
Commissioner Angel?
I already spoke to this, but I feel it warrants repeating because I want to. I'm extremely pleased with the deliberation that the ad hoc committee went through this year specifically, and the outcome that we came to. That's all I have to say with regards to the Senior Citizen Service Award. It was truly an honor.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith?
Yes, I would just like to, first of all, thank Mona and her team of the two other people and the time that was spent. And I admire your thoughtfulness and thoroughness in what you did. And I know it's not an easy task, but I appreciate it very much. So it's not something that I could do, and I didn't volunteer to do, but I appreciate it very much. As far as some other things that were brought up, I think there's a real room and opportunity for we as commissioners to work collaboratively with some of the other commissions. And my point is, like for mobility and traffic safety, and what Stephen was saying, Commissioner Lord was saying about walking and paths and safety. Just in my neighborhood alone, just within the last week, I've learned of 2 people that had very serious injuries just from tripping and falling. One gentleman hit a fire hydrant, and it just completely. So I think we should kind of be taking this seriously. And then on public health, I know that loneliness.
Manager Goodsell, we will need to extend the time if we go, we have about another minute.
That's okay, never mind.
Okay, all right. Thank you, everybody. The April 21st, 2026 Senior Citizen Commission meeting is hereby adjourned at 429.
To the local bar. That's a shame.
Two things. It occurred to me that